everybody, I'm Tom Vasso. Welcome to Week in Review. This is a series where we talk about, well, all the different games we reviewed over the past week. In this case, the week is spread over 2 weeks because at the end of last week, or a week and a half ago, whatever, we went to the World Series of Board Gaming, and then it went to the beginning of last week. So that's kind of a smushing there. So it's a week worth of reviews just spread out. We're going to tell you some quick thoughts on them, and if you want to see the full videos, check out the links in the description below. Let's go!
Hey everybody, I'm Garcia. Here's what I reviewed last week. I reviewed High Tide, which I gave a 7.5 to. This is an abstract two-player game, a very lightning fast one, in which you're going to be attempting to have your pieces control more of the board than your opponent's pieces, and you play multiple rounds of this. So you actually have to win the quote-unquote game 3 times, but each one of those games is very, very fast. We're talking 5 minutes or so. So it's really lightning fast. It's a very fun back and forth. And the gimmick in the abstract game itself, very clever. It works very, very well. So I enjoyed this one. If you're looking for a meatier experience in an abstract, this isn't really going to give you that. But as an abstract filler of sorts, then I certainly recommend it. I reviewed In the Footsteps of Darwin Correspondence, an expansion for In the Footsteps of Darwin. And I think the expansion is fantastic. I gave it a 9 out of 10. It manages to give you more interest, more cool things to think about during the game without changing the target audience, without giving you too much more overhead. And in fact, I might even find it slightly easier to teach with the expansion because you sort of, remove the characters from the central board and they get their own sideboard, which cleans up visually what it is the players are attempting to do. Really like it. Certainly would recommend it to everybody that enjoys the game. If you want a little more theme, a little more interest, then this is a good expansion. And then lastly, I reviewed Etherstone, which I also give a 9 out of 10 to. Just tremendous card game. Sort of feels like Raz Arcana, if you know that game, that demands of you that you accomplish a lot with very little. You're going to have 7 cards or so for the entirety of the game. You have a character that is sort of your avatar, and you are going to be managing to capture creatures, combat those creatures, play out the cards in your hand, create combos, draft dice, and then use those abilities for various things. Lots of intricate, interconnected abilities in this one. Really cool look. Very strange and esoteric in some ways, but completely captivating in others. So I really, really enjoy this one. That's Etherstone. And that's it for me, folks. I'll see you on the next one.
After a week off, I regret to inform you it is the return of Chris time. Hey, everybody. This week I looked at not just this 1 week, but over the last half of anyway, 4 games over the last 2 weeks here. The first of which is a game called Power Vacuum. I gave this one a 6.5. Yeah, I know, I wish I could say it sucks, vacuum joke, but no, it's pretty good. It's a neat game. It's a trick-taking game that is also more about kind of social manipulation and stuff. It has a very interesting little way that it goes about it, and it's impressive what it does with trick-taking as its base. But I find that there's a little bit too often where you have kind of a weak hand where you can't do much with it. Otherwise, I find it very clever. So that's what a 6.5 is, one that I'd play again. Next up, Tabriz, also a 6.5. This is a game about moving around a market and trading in goods for other types of goods and stuff. Very much like Century Spice Road or Century Eastern Mountains, with that kind of movement version of the trading resources. I think for a big part of it for me is it feels like there's a little too much upkeep for how smooth I kind of want the game to be, but it's all right. It's a 6.5. And then next up, Brink, a 7.5. I quite enjoyed Brink. I think that this was a nice game from Ivy Studios as you are doing worker placement over only just a few rounds, and the different size ships can activate different numbers of spaces that are next to. There's a bit of negotiation. There's some good stuff going on in this one, and I ended up really enjoying it, even at 2-player, the way that it brings in trading and stuff in a 2-player game with a small little simple bot on the side. I thought that was pretty well done. And then lastly, Pocket Farm, I gave a 7. Why did I do this out of order? I wrote the notes that way. I tried to go in ascending order, but Pocket Farm, a 7 from me. This game about square cards broken into quadrants that you overlay other cards. I think that is neat, and it was better actually and more fun than I was expecting it to be. However, I think that the system with which you pay for cards is more confusing than it need be, but I think that it beefs up the game a little bit into a nice puzzle. So, yeah, I think overall 7 is what I could recommend. And folks, that has been the games that I reviewed this week.
All right, we're back from the World Series of Board Gaming. So I'm taking a look at 2 weeks of games here that I reviewed. First up was an expansion for Leviathan Wilds, Deep Veil. Came in at a 7.5 on this one. I really enjoyed all the content. I thought that the new Leviathans, or the bad guys that are included, are really interesting and unique, similar to what we saw in the base game. And it is also going to come with a character that I really enjoyed playing, as well as a specialty or a class, which I thought was a lot of fun to play around with. Now, of course, all of this stuff I liked together, so why did I come down to 7.5? Ultimately, I wanted to see more classes and bad guys in this first expansion. The first game gave you a lot of Leviathans already, and even just 1 or 2 more classes I really think would have exponentially really increased what we can create our characters with in that little light bit of deck construction. So that was just more interesting to me. I did gravitate towards those, but that's a smaller part of the expansion. So for me, it was a 7.5. Happy to have it, glad to add it in, but not necessary. Also took a look at The Hobbit, There and Back Again. This is going to be a new roll and write coming from Office Dog and Reiner Knizia. Came in at a 7.5 on it as well. Again, really enjoyed what I got from this, my plays of this, and from my almost kind of campaign. There's 8 different maps in this roll and write that you're going to go through, and they take you through the story of The Hobbit. I found each one to be unique and engaging, but ultimately with repeated plays, I found myself only really coming back to about 4 of them. The others were either too basic or lacked a little bit of direction, just weren't as interesting. So really enjoyed it. Happy to play those 4 again, but with repeated plays, it did kind of wane a little bit. So The Hobbit, There and Back Again was a 7.5. Last up, I took a look at another expansion for In the Footsteps of Darwin. This is Correspondence. Came in at a 9 on this one. I had no expectations going into this expansion. I enjoy In the Footsteps of Darwin. I thought it was a very enjoyable, lightweight game, even a light family game. I don't want to say there was nothing to it, but it came out and hit the table because of its light nature and its easy rules overview that you can just jump in anytime with anybody. This expansion is really unique, I think, in that it brought more to the game without overcomplicating it. So it enriched the experience. It gave you deeper decisions to make without really increasing the rules overhead that you're going to have to teach. And I think that's really unique, that it can round out this experience, bring you so much more decision space without changing its target audience. So I thought that was really great, super unique, easy to throw in the base game, and you can teach with it in there. No one will ever know it has an expansion. It just feels like the expansion that we always needed but didn't know we wanted. So In the Footsteps of Darwin, Correspondence was a 9 for me. That's going to do it. Let's keep going.
Hey everybody, this is Joey Evans, and I just reviewed a couple of games this week. First off was Cascadia Jr., kind of a kid's version of Cascadia. I thought it was fine, a little bit simplistic. I ended up giving it a 6. Then I did There and Back Again by Office Dog. It's a Hobbit roll and write game. I loved this game. It's like 8 different games in one. Seriously, check this out. I think the components are great. I think the game is great, or the games, I guess, are great. Ended up giving this a 9. Anyway, those are the 2 games I reviewed this week.
Hi, I'm Wendy Yee, and this week there are 4 reviews, I guess it's the last 2 weeks, that I have been a part of. And the first one is a repeat review, so we had gotten a big rule wrong, so we went ahead and re-recorded it, and that is Propolis. But even with the re-record, the replays, and all of that we've done, I'm still giving it a 6.5. I still feel like it's a game that's almost there, but I would just rather play other games like Splendor that do that build-up. I'd rather play other area majority games, so it's like almost there, but not quite. Next on my list is Cascadia Jr. This one I gave a 7. I do think that it fits well at a very specific age range. So this is not one that I recommend for myself, but instead I recommend for younger children who want to get into that Cascadia, kind of learn some of those spatial building mechanisms. It does have a lot of randomness, but I think that that can be useful for those younger children, but I think older kids really should just stick with Cascadia. So that one's a 7. Next on my list is Pocket Farm. This is a cute one. It's square cards with little grids. I gave this one a 7.5. I think that it does a lot of good stuff. And I've seen a lot of games that have those little like 4 grids, cover up corners. And I think that this is probably the one that I've enjoyed the most recently. And then my last one is Tabriz. This one I gave an 8. I think it is an absolutely fabulous game. I enjoyed it a ton. And it is a worker movement, go around, exchange goods for other goods, very Century Spice Road-like, but with a really cool map and a little bit of engine building. So there you go. That's what I reviewed this week. If you're interested in any of those games, go check out those reviews. And let's go ahead and see who's next.
Hey there, everybody. It's Mike DeLisio, and it was a light review week because I was at the World Series of Board Gaming with most of the crew. So this week, I reviewed The Hobbit, There and Back Again, which I gave an 8 out of 10. This is a roll and write style game by Dr. Reiner Knizia, and you are playing through the main kind of story beats of the Hobbit book. There are 8 different chapters or scenarios, and they all kind of play around with this formula of rolling dice, doing some path building. Sometimes you're doing polyominoes, sometimes you're just drawing little paths on the dry erase book. And really great production, very solid game in a genre that I've pretty much gotten tired of, roll and write. This one does something unique, so that's why it's getting an 8 out of 10 for me. All right, well, that's going to do it for me this week. Let's keep it moving.
All right, I reviewed 3 pretty terrible games. I call them bad games. Bad games, sorry. Mine, Woof, 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 and another one. It doesn't matter. They're all from Spin Master and all just really bad implementations of public domain type games. I just was not impressed with them at all. 3 out of 10. Propolis. Still don't love this game. We fixed a rule that we had made a mistake on talking about, even though I actually did play it correctly. But it just still doesn't make me enjoy the game. It's not that it's necessarily bad, it's just that so many of the games do it better. It just didn't feel, I don't know, I didn't like it. 5 out of 10. I did like Tabriz, a cozy style pick up and delivery game. Box is a bit too big, but I enjoyed just changing cubes and other cubes. I like this stuff. 7 out of 10. Etherstone, a back and forth 2-player game. It reminds me a lot of Res Arcana. I enjoyed this one. Interesting draft back and forth. 7.5. Brink from Ivy Studios. This is a game collecting resources in actions, and it feels like an Ivy Studio game. It's hard to explain. It just has that same feel. I enjoyed it. 7.5 also. A lot of 8s this week. Lightning Train, great game of bag building, and it's trains. It's pickup and delivery. It's route connection. It's there's just a lot of stuff in it. It's kind of an odd combo. Paul Denning and Dire Wolf Games coming together, and I enjoyed it though. 8 out of 10. High Tide, a little abstract game. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed this one. The back and forth nature of it. Another 8 out of 10. I made you a mixtape. This is from Mike DeLisio, so take my opinion with a grain of salt, but I think it's a very nice filler here with just I split you choose mechanism. Enjoyed it. 8 out of 10. And then 1-9, the Marvel Dice Throne stuff. I love Dice Throne. I love the X-Men. So I talked about the X-Men, all 8 of them. I ranked them from 1 to 8, how much I liked them, but I really like them a lot. I like Dice Throne, period. Even the non-Marvel stuff, it all fits together, and these are 8 great characters. There's a lot of other stuff we did. We started, if you missed it, we started a new RPG series called The Four Doubloons. This will be a short-term RPG, like 10 episodes or so. So definitely you'll want to check that out. And also, there's just all regular shows. And, of course, the World Series of Board Gaming. If you missed it, we had some fun other games we played in there. I played Terraforming Mars against the publisher, the original publisher of the game, Stephen Bonacore, the head of the World Series of Board Gaming, John Hagmeyer, and then the designer of the game, Jacob Frixilius. How well did I do? We'll watch it and find out. We also played Codenames with some designers, Jackie Fox and Connie Vogelman. How well did we do there? well, again, you have to go see those. And of course, all of our coverage of the World Series of Board Gaming. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Tom Vassell, and this is Week in Review on the Dice Tower. Hey folks, thanks for watching another one of our videos. If you like our videos, if you like our channel, if you would love to game with us at one of our conventions, check out Dice Tower Cruise, Dice Tower East, and Dice Tower West. Fantastic conventions where we play games with wonderful people, a humongous library, and lots of other events and stuff. Also, don't forget to check out our channel, like and subscribe. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm not tired at all.